The Charlotte Hornets guard Lamelo Ball will not play again this season as he continues to rehab a right ankle injury. The team announced Thursday. Ball has been out since January 27th and is about to be April, ladies and gentlemen. When he did not play in the second game of a back-to-back, the 22-year-old missed two significant stretches of the 2023-24 season, sitting out nearly 7 weeks after he sprained his right ankle in November. In all, Ball has been limited to 58 games over the past 2 seasons due to a number of injuries to the same ankle as well too. Right now, currently the Hornets are 18-54, and yeah, he signed a 5-year rookie max extension this past July. So, what are your thoughts on Lamelo Ball and the Hornets moving forward, man?
Bro, let me read you this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
51, 75,
51 rookie year.
51 rookie year.
Okay.
75 year two, and that's when he was an all-star. 36 and 22.
Dang.
So, bro has had one healthy season, and he's young. I think we've talked about this before because injuries are such a big part of this game, but you just don't usually, Steph being an example, and I feel like there's probably a couple
Steph
other
too.
people,
I was about to
but
bring up Steph.
yeah, but usually when you come in injured, especially this much early on, it just doesn't, you tend to get a lot better, or if it does, it's for a small period of time and then it kind of rears its head again. Um, yeah, look, man, and we guess we'll never know with Jello because he never actually made the league, but
He made it for a
no,
couple
he didn't
games,
make
right?
the league. He was no. He maybe played like 10 minutes of NBA action or something like that.
Shit, it's probably about the same amount of minutes as Don. I'm kidding.
I'm dead. But yeah, I mean, this is a different aside, but they were able to. Granted, Giannis is better, but Giannis has been able to keep his brother in the league for years.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't even keep him in the league for a year for 10 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless, the Ball brothers, they just have bad. I don't want to say bad genes because clearly they're NBA players, but like in terms of their health and their body composition, that's just not it. It's not it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily surprised, but also the only thing I will say is I wonder if this will be similar to a Shea situation because if you looked at the 2 years prior to last year with Shea, you could have potentially said that he was injury prone as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of it was
he injury prone? You think, or they kind of?
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of it was the team was shitty,
Yeah.
so it's like we have no need to rush you back for even any small nagging injury because he was missing a lot of games those like 2 years before.
Yeah.
But it was like we're one of the worst teams in the league. We might as well play all our other young guys, give them some opportunities, and not rush you back.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I could say potentially, might be working in his favor of like they're just being overly cautious because they're bad and there's no need in rushing him back. But end of the day, like right now, it's just not a good look. And I think that people were already talking a little bit about then potentially focusing the franchise more on Brandon Miller, which, to be honest with you, I think would be at this point kind of better anyway, only because LaMelo has never been efficient either. So I think maybe
like 41, 42% every year.
Yeah, 43, 42, 41, 43. And he's pretty decent at 3-point shooting, but I just think he's a guy that maybe if you were to dial it back a little bit and I don't want to fully compare him to Chris Paul, but just Chris Paul in terms of like I could still give you 18, 20, but he's a great passer that you can't take away from him. Exactly. Like something like that. Well, but even Tyrese before he got injured was efficient. Yeah, exactly.
As hell.
I think might be better if it's just kind of like I'm the number two. I'm the one with the ball in my hands the most, but I'm number 2 on the scoring chart.
I like that.
And I think Brandon Miller could be kind of like the head of that monster a little bit more, and that might potentially make them a better team.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe even with a little bit less of a load, his body might fare better. I don't know, but and then I'm just real quick looking at his play-in stats, bro. He played in 2 play-in games. One he shot 28%, and the other one he shot 28%. So
the lights be too bright.
Man, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah. No, that's interesting that you kind of bring it up. One thing I was going to bring up was the Steph Curry situation that you brought up already, but with Steph's situation, I mean, his ankles have kind of bothered him throughout his career, but it's always been something that's minor. So he got to go to that same doctor or some shit. Cause like you said, having this injury at this young age, like it can get better, but the chances of it getting better are kind of on the low end. And it's not like Steph Curry's situation, right? Like obviously the Hornets are a bad team, right? So they're gonna draft lottery based picks the next couple of years, but it's not like Steph's situation where LaMelo already got thrown the fucking bag, so that's kind of gonna affect the salary cap. And with Steph, he had that it's like a 4-year, $30 million deal, so they were able to continuously add, more free agents and even get that KD, years later because of that contract. So that's going to be interesting to see like what happens moving forward. With his contract and like I said, like basically what you said, building around Brandon Miller. So I agree with you. I think they should kind of gear their roster towards Brandon Miller.
Cold.
Yeah,
he really is. Yeah. He's fire.
Yeah, he's fire. He's fire. And it's just his rookie year, so like this is the worst he's ever gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
You hope. It could be Tyreek. Every time, bro, I just always think about Tyreek Evans. It's like Evans. That's what everybody was probably saying. Oh, this is the worst he gonna be. And this was actually the best that he would ever be.
That's just sad. I mean, obviously, he's under contract for 4 more years. Do you try to go after best available if you're the Hornets, or do you you're scared, so you're like, let's try to pick up a point guard?
You talking about draft or free agency?
Draft.
I don't think they're going to draft a point guard. I mean, if I guess the point guard was the best available, but everything I've been hearing about this year, that's not really the case. Mm-hmm. But it depends. It depends because I know Dillingham is probably going to go top 3 or 4, so it does depend. I feel like on where their pick ends up. Mm-hmm. But actually, you know what? I wouldn't be mad at them picking Rob.
Yeah.
Only because. Not even as a LaMelo replacement, more of they don't have I don't know who their 2 guard is right now. They don't have a 2. And those 2, LaMelo could still be your point guard and Rob be the shooting guard, but in terms of who they're guarding, height-wise, LaMelo can match up with 2 guards and Rob can match up with the 1. Right? Exactly. So, and even if you want to have them both play point, Dillingham right now, at least, I think rookie year would be a perfect off-the-bench type of scorer guy. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't be the worst. I think also because this draft class is not.
It's kind of mid.
It looks mid. I'm not gonna pass judgment because I feel like it's a couple draft classes that people said were gonna be mid or not good, and then ended up putting up a lot of like decent NBA players.